Welcome to the Michigan Football Report, folks. It's Recruiting National Signing Day, the early National Signing Day, really the only National Signing Day for the 2021 class. And what started off as a top 10 class for Jim Harbaugh, ending year 6, going into year 7, has turned into Decommitment Wednesday. Michigan has already lost today 2 of their top recruits. You see him right there in the middle of the screen, Brandon Jennings, highly rated 4-star linebacker out of the state of Florida, around number 100 in the country, and Quentin Somerville out of Arizona, out of the Phoenix, Scottsdale, Arizona. He just flipped in the last few minutes. Literally, as you're about to press record on this video, he flipped to UCLA. So Jennings, linebacker to Maryland, Quentin Somerville to UCLA. You see Jaydon McBurrows over there on the right side of the screen. He is a lesser rated 3-star, but he's the only cornerback in this class, which is mind-boggling to me, given how bad Michigan's been against the pass this season. They only have one cornerback, a 3-star. He is rumored to be looking around Miami and some others. A couple announcements coming up here in a couple hours, about 3 hours from now, 2 hours from now. We have Diamond Edwards committing between Michigan, Georgia, and Notre Dame. And then later on in the day, 4 o'clock Eastern, you've got Xavier Worthy out of California, Northern California, being committed to Michigan, so he's still on our list, still listed as a commit according to him, according to the recruiting websites. He'll be announcing at 4 o'clock between Michigan and Alabama. But what does this do to Michigan's recruiting rankings? Let's take a look. Now going into late morning, 11 a.m., Michigan has dropped from number 9 in the 24/7 composite, which kind of combines the rankings of the 3 recruiting services, ESPN, Rivals, 24/7, dropped to 15. ESPN, we got him number 17. Rivals number 13, 24/7 Sports has put Michigan now at number 16. So it looked like a remarkably strong class for Jim Harbaugh, given the bad play in the field, the uncertainty with his future, and the fact that this recruiting class only had like 2 commits back 6 months ago in April and March, 7 months ago, has turned into kind of a disaster. The uncertainty of Jim Harbaugh is hurting this class. So take a look. The class is now 19 commits instead of 21 that it was just 45 minutes ago, before they had the first of 2 decommits. 1 5-star, J.J. McCarthy. 11 4-stars is now down to 9, and 3 stars, they still have 9 for a 19-player class. A couple guys out there could go to Michigan potentially. Diamond Edwards, 1 or 2 other players that are unlikely to go to Michigan could increase the number of this class. But Xavier Worthy, Jaydon McBurrows, others, we might see 1 or 2 more decommitments. So we'll kind of keep you updated here in the Michigan Football Report throughout the day. Despite the challenges on the recruiting trail today, just go ahead and type "Go Blue" below if you love Michigan football. If you're still going to watch this show, you're still going to engage, you're still going to love this program, no matter how bad the product in the field has been. You hope that they get it turned around. And while you're here, make sure to subscribe. We've got recruiting, we've got rumors, we've got entertainment. You guys watch because we're entertaining. We like to get you involved, get you going in the comments. So make sure to subscribe. We are creeping up. We are creeping up on 12,000 subscribers. So thank you so much for joining in on the most watched Michigan football program on the internet. I see Sloppy Scam Web on there, YouTube Live right now. He's got 14 people watching. This video is going to have 40,000 viewers, so go ahead and subscribe today. Let's take a look at the recruiting class. Headlined by J.J. McCarthy, the 5-star quarterback out of the Chicago, Illinois area. He is the headliner of the class, and frankly, I think had he looked around, had he not been as adamant towards Michigan and coming there no matter what happens in the field, what happens with Harbaugh, other players might have decommitted, might have fled too. So he's held this class together. Next up, Xavier Worthy. Still listing him here because he is still a commit, and I actually think he's going to stick with Michigan when he announces later on this afternoon, 4 o'clock Eastern. He will have that. But if Xavier Worthy were to pick Alabama and Diamond Edwards later today were not to pick Michigan, man, this class really hits with a dud big time. So stick with us. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at James Joder. I'll be all over the Xavier Worthy, all over the Donovan Edwards commitment announcements later on today. 2 game breakers that Michigan absolutely needs. Now, how about this guy? Giovanni El-Hadi, the Michigan's, I believe, the first commitment in this class way back in his sophomore year in high school. 3 players, top 100 overall for this Michigan football class. And really, on the offensive side of the ball, it's kind of what you need to see given how Michigan has lagged behind Ohio State. 5-star quarterback, 4-star wide receiver, 4-star offensive tackle there in the 100. But with J.J. McCarthy coming into Michigan next year, Cade McNamara on the roster, Joe Milton, he might be there, might transfer, but these are the quarterback options Michigan will have at their disposal. I want to know from you. I'm going to make this the pinned comment. You might get hit with an ad break here on YouTube, but go down and answer. Who will start at quarterback in 2021? True freshman J.J. McCarthy? I guess redshirt freshman Cade McNamara, because this year didn't count, even though he'll be in his third year next year. Or Joe Milton going into his fourth year, type JJ, type Cade, or type Joe, heading into that, into the 2021 season, given everything that we have seen this year. Look, I'm just going to press JJ and type my JJ. That's my answer. Let's take a look at the rest of the recruiting class. Junior Colson out of the Nashville area in Tennessee. Really nice pickup for Jim Harbaugh from Michigan. One that had a lot of SEC offers, top 100 player in the country, to pull him out of the state of Tennessee in Ravenwood, Brentwood area outside Nashville is a big pickup. Raheem Anderson, top 100-ish borderline player in the state of Michigan, offensive lineman, going to be center. And with Carpenter transferring, he might be starting center before his second year in the program for the Michigan Wolverines. So, taking a look at those guys. Then we got Cristian Dixon. I think we may have skipped one guy in there, Lewis Hansen, but nevertheless. Cristian Dixon out of California. 4-star wide receiver. Cool. We'll get into it in a second. 4-star wide receiver. If Dixon and Worthy and Donovan Edwards come, along with J.J. McCarthy and the offensive lineman, this is turning into a pretty nice class for the Michigan Wolverines on the offensive side of the ball. If you guys haven't yet, follow me on Twitter at James Yoder. I spammed the Twitter feed last night, retweeting all the I'm an MFers that you guys have tweeted at me that I may have missed. So tweet at me, James, I'm an MFer. Make sure you let me know that you watch the show, you subscribe, and if you follow me on Twitter and you hit me with an I'm an MFer, I'm going to follow you back throughout the rest of the year. So appreciate all the support there. Keep it rolling with Jaydon Hood, right? He's one that potentially is still looking around here, right? Miami, some other schools in the South. He may be one that at the end of the day is no longer a part of this class. 4-star, top 250 player overall in the class. Then you've got Lewis Hansen. All right, he is a player, and I think that was my fault. I was looking at Lewis Hansen a minute ago. I had the wrong list up of my next line of recruits. But he's out of Don Brown country, out of the East Coast. He will probably fight for immediate playing time, given that Michigan really didn't show much from the tight end position this year. Greg Crippen, another center, but I think with him and Anderson there, one of those guys will probably move to guard. Keyshawn Bennett, we had a little debate on how you pronounce his name. Is it Keyshawn? I'm going with Keyshawn. Defensive lineman, 4-star, top 350. And then you get down to the 3 stars. Now, Dunlap here out of the state of Texas, number 4 or 5 player in the country. He's a 3-star. But I think he can. I've watched plenty of his film. I think he can make an impact in Michigan. I think he's a little bit underrated for a running back recruit. I think if he was in another state, had he been in, Tennessee or something like that, not overshadowed by some bigger names in Texas, maybe he is a 4-star, top 250, top 300 player in the country. If you guys like recruiting, if you guys like sports news, if you want to know about the college football playoff, we will have the college football playoff rankings. I know Michigan fans probably don't care, but make sure you go follow our main channel here on YouTube, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Chat Sports makes the Michigan Football Report possible. We're putting all kinds of recruiting news, rumors, top 25 final rankings, early rankings, all kinds of information for recruiting today. So go over there, youtube.com/chatsportstv. I'll also toss in the description, and it'll be down in the comments below. So click, hit sub, you'll get all kinds of awesome sports news. All right, before we get into the rest of the class, I'm going to ask you guys this question. Grade this Michigan football 2021 recruiting class, which is now around number 15 class in the country. A, B, C, D, or F. I'm going to look at my notes here. I am giving this class an F. Why am I giving an F? Top 15 class was top 10 a few minutes ago, James. Why are you giving an F? For 2 reasons in particular. One, the uncertainty of Jim Harbaugh, Don Brown, yada, 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 the coaching staff has lost Michigan at least 2 players today. It may lose them a 3rd in Xavier Worthy. It may lose them a 4th, not a decommit, but a guy who was really a strong lean to Michigan in Donovan Edwards earlier today. It really left them without a chance at bringing on any more players down the stretch. So that's one knock. The other knock is this. It's kind of a twofold thing. One is Ohio State's got the number 1 or 2 recruiting class in the country, depending on what service you use. It's an all-time class, following their all-time class last year, and their all-time class they've got lined up for 2022. So if they've got number 1 or 2 class, Michigan's got 15, you're not getting any closer to closing the gap to beating Michigan. So that's number 1. You take a look at Ohio State's rankings here. They've got the number 2 class in the composite, 24/7 in their own rankings got number 1, Rivals 2, ESPN 2. But you're not catching Ohio State, so you don't check that box. You're losing guys left and right today. That doesn't check that box. And number 3 is this, and this is the most concerning thing. This is why I've been so hard on Matt Dudek all throughout 2020. So I think Michigan's recruiting operations is amateur hour compared to Ohio State, is this reasons. Michigan has the worst secondary in the Big Ten. They have 2 defensive tackle commitments, or players who've signed with them in the last 4 recruiting classes. They got 0 defensive tackle recruits this year. 0. Think about that. Ben Mason was starting at defensive tackle against Wisconsin last year, and the last 2 classes you brought on 0 defensive tackles. How is that possible? Then you've got terrible corners, at least have we seen this year. Like, I hope they get better. The freshman that came in last year did nothing, and you get 1 cornerback, and he's potentially decommitting today. Maybe he sticks with, maybe he doesn't, but in Jaydon McBurrows. So that's why I give Michigan an F, but go down and give me your grades. This is an F class for me. Did nothing to accomplish the goals of the Michigan football program. Keep it rolling through the rest of the class. We've got Tristan Bounds. I like this kid. He gives a lot of interviews. He's pretty active on social media. Tyler McLaurin. Rodmore. I don't think he'll decommit, but he's been one that a lot of people have rumored that could decommit because, his one buddy that was part of the class, the wide receiver, decommitted, yada, yada, yada. Andrel Anthony out of East Lansing was surprisingly, because he's a 3-star, was a hot recruit between Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State, and a few other schools. Michigan grabbed him out of Lansing, out of Michigan State's hometown. And then out of the state of Florida, you got Jaydon McBurrows, number 550 in the country. He's looking around, so don't be surprised if he decommits, although the tide is a little bit turning that he may stick with Michigan. Then you got these last three players. I'm no knock on them. I hope they make an impact, but they rarely do, the players who are towards the 1,000 in the country or non-ranked. So you got TJ Guy, defensive end. He is out of, I forget where he's out of. I'm going to look it up. Massachusetts, that's what I thought. Tommy Doman out of the state of Michigan. And then you've got Dominick Giudice. If you guys want to see a casting call for the next Sopranos movie or show on HBO, go look at Dominick Giudice's Twitter feed. He looks like he is Tony Soprano's nephew. It's a spitting image of what Christopher would look like. He's very, very Italian, let's just say that. So that's the recruiting class, right? I personally think that it was on the right track. If you get Donovan Edwards, you get Xavier Worthy, I'll feel okay about it. But I still have to give it an F because it didn't meet any of the objectives that Michigan had to if you're going to compete for conference titles, let alone national titles in the future. That's the show for today, folks. We'll be back hopefully later today with kind of a recap on all the news and rumors that happened throughout the day for the Michigan football recruiting class. Make sure to subscribe so you get hit with a notification and you know when that video goes live. If you missed some of our content earlier in the week, I've got a video for you here, got a video for you here. We'll be back later on today. Go Blue.